I hate to steal from my friend Bernie Sanders, but it's not me, it's us. The reality is, as much work as Mary and I do, there is no way that in 2014 that this community, that we could have beaten the most powerful industry on earth without the people of the community of San Benito County. It made news all around the world when this county was the first county in California to say no to fracking. They outspent us 18-1. No campaign, this county had never seen anything like it. The bombardment of TV commercials and mailers and internet and people who are hired to destroy our signs and lie to our people. We had never seen the likes of it before in this county. And yet, hundreds of people went out and collected the signatures. Hundreds of people put on events and talked to their friends and neighbors. And the real canvassing began as the people of this community started talking about this issue in their schools, in their churches, in their neighborhoods. And by the time all of that happened, with all these people doing all this, the oil industry didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance. We won that in 2014 with 59% of the vote. But more than that, what is so shocking, and what we're going to see again right now, is that 2014 was one of the country's lowest voter turnouts. Newspaper articles were written all about whether democracy was dying in the United States. In California, on that election, there was a 42% voter turnout. Our elected officials, Angela Curo, who runs the office, a wonderful person, she predicted at that election that we were going to have a 35% voter turnout in 2014 because San Benito County historically ran under the state average for turnout. By the time all of you got involved in that discussion and all of you talked to everybody, we had a 58% voter turnout. Again here with this Measure K, with no on Measure K, almost 100 people went out, and this is a referendum. There's initiatives like Measure K, and then there are referenda. This, as far as we know, is the first county-wide referendum in San Benito County's history. And the reason why it's a first, it is so difficult to do a referendum because you are responding to something that a governing body does. You have 30 days after they do it to get something written up by lawyers, to get it out to a print shop, to get people lined up to do it. And by the time it's done, we only had really 25, 26 days, and we needed 2,060 signatures to qualify for the ballot. We collected 4,428 signatures. Gave us a head start in all this because thousands of people in this community already knew about the issue. That's what happens when you launch a referendum initiative. I myself collected 840 signatures. What I learned, because I probably talked to 12 or 1,300 people at the county fair, at the post offices, in the shopping centers, and I frankly, by the end of that, probably had a better feel for what the people in San Benito County were thinking about growth and about their lives than any single person in this county, because I had had intimate conversations with so many of them. And that gave us a heads up, that gave us an advantage when we framed our literature, because we knew exactly what the people were thinking and what they needed to hear. Because unlike a pole that you spend $12,000 or $15,000 to do, we didn't spend anything for that, and yet we knew what a substantial portion of the people of this county were thinking about the concerns. And one of the things that they were thinking was, okay, yeah, it seems pretty stupid that they're doing this stuff out on Highway 101, but what about the rest of this county? What about Hollister? You guys should have been here 10 years ago, 20 years ago. These people are destroying this county.
Yeah.
That's what people were saying to us all over. And we heard it over and over again, and it became obvious that we had to do far more than stop a stupid series of cancerous nodes out on Highway 101, that we had to address the whole illness that is going on in San Benito County. I'd like to talk about systemic corruption, because this is not the kind of extreme corruption where one person comes in and bribes somebody, or you have some of that, or or one person gets a special project that enriches them, but it's a pattern of activity where they listen to just certain people about what we should be doing in this county, and they accept a certain mindset about what's good, and it sets in motion something moving to the point where suddenly people see all around themselves all the farms disappearing.
Yes.
Developments going up where they never even knew there were developments. No one even told them that these things were happening. And people being drawn in. And I have no resentment for the many people who come here to escape life in San Jose. I don't resent them, because I would want to leave those places too. But they come down here maybe to some open house by Anderson Homes or Candy Homes or something on a Saturday. They have it in the middle of the day. They drive down and say, that wasn't bad. It took me 45, 50 minutes. I can get to work up there. And then they move here, and then they discover it takes them 2.5 hours to get to work, and 2.5 hours to come home. And their life is hell. They have no time with their families. They're stressed out. I met a woman who said, I'm on the verge of being the victim of domestic violence because my husband spends 2.5 or 3 hours twice a day there. The other day he came home, he was so frustrated, he punched a hole through the sheetrock of our wall. I talked to a couple who get their dialysis in Morgan Hill. Both of them are dialysis. They schedule their dialysis for 2 o'clock in the morning because that's the only time that they can guarantee that they can get there without not running into some kind of traffic jam after going through dialysis. That is a sign that there's something tremendously wrong. And so, no unmeasured K is emergency medicine. It's just first aid. They rushed this stuff ahead. We had a short time to stop them from rezoning this area, because once it's rezoned, then they do have grounds for takings, for suing the county, and they made it clear that once they got this zone, they were never going to stop before they got these until they got these developments done. They told us that they would do environmental review around each project. It doesn't matter whether you do environmental review, because these properties will now be owned by other developers, and if the county did have the nerve to tell them you can't do this, they would sue us, because they had just bought property that was zoned commercial. So there's no later review on this stuff. And when they tell you that there's going to be later review, they're just lying to you, because it's not going to make any difference, that later review. And so that's the emergency medicine. You may have seen in the paper, and you will, if you look at the freelance this week, there'll be a legal notice for the Citizens Initiative that is going to be launched. We're going to have to start collecting signatures on the 29th or 30th. This initiative will address this issue of those 16 nodes in this county. what it does is it takes all of those nodes off the map. It amends the general plan and basically says there will be no more conversion of range or farmland to any kind of other use outside of our city areas without a vote of the people. What that does is it addresses what Jan said, which is no longer will there be this token check-the-box kind of participation by the people of this county, because no project will ever get approved unless they actually have an open and transparent process where they can show us what the benefits are of this development, what the costs are of this development, how are they going to deal with the roads, the water, the schools, what we're going to get out of it. And if it will clean up the politics, because the politicians themselves will not be able to deliver a project without us, unless they want to bribe us all, which I don't think they want to do. So it will clean us up, it will slow this process down, and I can tell you from talking to the people in this county, it will slow down for quite a while, because everyone knows that the infrastructure in this county cannot handle the growth that we've already experienced. It cannot handle it. And so we have that initiative, and on Friday, I believe, or soon, we'll be introducing another initiative that deals with the city of Hollister and creates an urban growth boundary, draws a line around Hollister, and no more annexing of farmlands into the city without a vote of the people.
I love you, Andy.
What that means is not that we can't ever grow. It means that we as a community will assess when it's time to do some more expansion and whether it will work for us or not. And how we want to do it. So if you take those two issues of drawing a boundary around the city and of not allowing the cancer to metastasize in nodes along our thoroughfares, between those two, we should begin to get a handle on our problem. We still have a bunch of projects that have already been approved by, frankly, irresponsible elected officials, and those we have a lot more problem with because they've already been zoned, and we will be in battles with the developers who've been told they can do things. We may still be able to push back and negotiate some better mitigation and some better benefits in the process if we get the right kinds of people elected to our city councils and to our county supervisors who are willing to negotiate.
Smart people.
Yes, smart and tough people who see themselves as responsible to all of us and not to their contributors. So if we get the right kind of folks, we can minimize some of the damage that unfortunately is already locked in. But what we can do is make sure that we don't have a cascading disaster in this county, and then we can begin to refocus. When people talked about vision, one of my favorite quotes ever is by Rabbi Hillel 2,000 years ago. He said, "If you don't know where you're going, all roads will lead you there." Finally, so on these two initiatives, just as I frankly, I have to tell you, I don't want to collect another 800 forms on both of these two. I spent 25 days in the parking lots of Target and Safeway and Nob Hill and by the post offices. It was hot, and I was out there for 5 or 6 hours a day. for those 25 days. My wife collected 400 or 500, many other people collected. We had, and we talk about other people who treasure this area. There's a man named James Starkey Wolf. You may have seen him, a tall guy who looks like he's dressed like a Native American. He lives in Prunedale, and he was camping in his car and staying and out every day helping us collect the signatures to get that on the ballot. That phone call that I got is from a young man, well, now I think I'm younger than me, man, and from Santa Cruz, the lone mentor lives in Santa Cruz, who's been coming every weekend for the past 6 weekends to help hand out flyers and talk to people to help us win this, to do No on K. And he's ready to come and help collect signatures again. The Amamutsan, who can't live here in this county anymore, even though they're the native people here that live in the valley and other places, are sending people to help us collect our signatures. So what I'm urging all of you to do is to lighten our load, to line up and volunteer, because if everybody in this room collects 25 or 30 signatures, then a few of us won't have to spend the next 2 months in parking lot. I guarantee I'm willing to collect a few hundred. But with 2 different initiatives, I don't want to have to collect 1,600 myself. And so we can do this, and I look forward to working side by side with you on all of this. What we're doing is not just ensuring a better future for ourselves in this county, we're also restoring what the initiative process and the referendum process was designed to do. We're restoring and reviving the democracy that we all depend